everyone. Welcome to another Chit Chat with Mandi and Caryl. I'm Mandi, also known as the Board Gaming Pinup Girl.
And I'm Caryl, also known as Caryl Tan.
And today we're going to be taking a look at the game Wits and Wagers, Vegas.
Baby.
I feel like I should have like an Elvis. Thank you very much. Thank
I feel like I should have had like pulled just sunglasses at that very moment.
So before we get to all the fun stuff, let's talk about some business. If there's a part of the video that you're just like, I need to get there, we have timestamps listed below for your convenience. So I think we're ready to show Wits and Wagers Vegas style.
Is that sleazy? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, that was terrible. Okay, let's check it out. Place your bets. In Vegas Wits and Wagers, players are asked questions, write their answers, and place bets on whose response they think is most correct. It pays to be right because the payouts are huge. So in Vegas Wits and Wagers, you'll see that we have a nice large mat, but on the other side is the original. For this video, we're going to be showing Vegas. Vegas Wits and Wagers, we use the neoprene mat. And you would be using the Wits and Wagers Party Edition or the Deluxe. We are using the Party Edition. So to set up, we've placed chips along the bottom corresponding to the number that's there. So if there's a 1, we put 1 100 chip, 2, 3, and so forth. We've also closed off some spaces. This would happen if you're playing in a 5-team game. So if not, you would remove these and keep these slots open. But for this, we're going to keep them covered to show a 5-team game. You'll also notice at the top here, 10-1. So these are some of the players that we're going to bet 10-1 to see if they get their answers correct. We also can bet on black 1-1 and red 1-1. Or if you think none of the answers are correct, you can guess smaller than the smallest guess, which is a 6-1. Each player gets their own set of chips marked at 1 and 200, and you always get these back at the end of a round. So first, what you want to do is choose a question and the start player. So in our case, we're going to be taking a look at the question, in what year was Elvis Presley inducted into the US Army? So everyone, here's the question, put that aside, and everyone writes their responses. So we're going to put these on the board. We're not going to turn them over yet, but first, what players are going to do is they are going to decide here who they think is going to get the correct answer, giving them 10-1 odds. This is not mandatory, but something you can do in order to get a little bit of money. So if a player decides to throw one of their tokens on there, if this player is correct, the purple player will get a 10-1 payout if the yellow has the correct response. If not, then they get their chip back at the end of the round. So keeping in mind the question asked the year that Elvis joined the Army, so we want to write the year. Once the 10-1 odds bets have been placed, now we can flip the tiles of everyone's responses. We would arrange them from lowest to highest guess. So I've kind of already done that here. So you place them on the board. You'll notice here that this is the larger size tile. This will be the size for Vegas Wits and Wagers. This is the size that comes with the Party Edition. So once they've been organized, now players have an opportunity to bet on which they think is the correct answer. Once all bets have been placed, then the player who has read the question reveals the right response. So in this case, the response is 1958. So anybody who placed a bet here on Elvis would be correct, and that player would be correct. So what would happen here is anybody who bet on any of the other responses would not receive any money. This was the correct answer, actually on the nose. You want to collect on the answer that is the closest to the correct without going over. Additionally, we'll remove anything that was in this area because the guess was in the black zone, so nothing here. Here, we have a couple of payouts, or a few actually. Black was correct, so this player would receive 1-1. So basically, they would receive 200. So they would get 2 100 tokens and their token back. Here, this player, it's 3-1, so they would receive 300, in addition to their token back. Finally, the player who is correct would receive the amount that's on the space at the bottom. In this case, it's 100. Had they bet on themselves, they would also receive a payout. We also take a look at 10-1. So as you can see, this player placed on the yellow player. The yellow player was not correct, so they do not receive a payout. If they had, however, placed it on Elvis, they would receive 10-1, so in this case, they would receive $1,000. You continue playing until you get through the last round. Basically, the player who is correct in each round will receive the payout that's listed on the bottom. Player with the most money wins. So now we're ready to give a review of Wits and Wagers Vegas. So, what'd you think?
I love Wits and Wagers. That was one of the very first party games I was ever introduced to, and I love the Price is Right idea and the fact that it's a trivia game without the smartest person actually winning. Like it's like a guesstimation kind of game.
Right.
And with Vegas, it brings out the gambler in all of us.
That's true. Although I'm pretty cheap, so I usually put actually no. If I have money, I barely bet anything. But yeah.
I love to take risk in games, so I love being able to put all my money in this thing, or just believing in myself. We're you know what? There's nothing wrong with doing the 10-1 payout. So in the Vegas version, you have the payout where you can bet on a certain person on who you think will have the closest answer without going over. So it's this person seems like they know what they're doing, or this person has a sports background, they probably would know this, or just blindly thinking you know what, I'm probably the person who has the best idea of what this might be. So I'll be why not? Especially toward the end, why not? Just put all your money out and whatever happens, happens.
To be fair, you were very good. So either you were really good at bluffing or really good at responding. But I thought your responses were consistently really good. So you're the type of person that's generally really good at these types of games. I mean, all you really need to know is to try and not go over the number that they're asking for. I don't know. Apparently my guesses are out in left field. But also, to be fair, the game is not in the same, what's the word I'm looking for? It's an American game. So all of the, oh my gosh, why can't I remember what the word is? Not conversions, all of the units, I guess. Units of measure or things like that.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah. So it's not the word I was looking for, but it gets the point across. But any units of measure, things like that are in, what the Americans would use versus Canadians and, other groups. Because what's America on?
It starts with an I.
Imperial.
Imperial, thank you.
Imperial. Yeah, they're Imperial. So aren't they the only one?
Apparently, they're the only ones in the world using ounces and yards, and everyone else is on the metric system.
Right. So, which is fine. It's just for me, I'm I don't know all the conversions, so I feel sometimes I'm a little off.
Well, at that point, we all just get our calculators and be what's 12 ounces? Let's get our calculators and convert that to milliliters or whatever.
So basically, Canadian version takes longer because we need to do conversion. But getting back to the match, I love Wits and Wagers. I'm the same as you. I have the deluxe version. With this version, we had to play it with the party version. Mm-hmm. And I like the fact that the whiteboards are now a little bit bigger and some fun characters that they have on that. And there's some diversity and representation there, which I like. The mat is huge. And I like the mat because you can flip it over and go back to the original board if you'd like. But in the new board, they have, the way that you can block it off depending on your players, I thought was really smart because it was always difficult on the other side. I found don't use this space and so this is smart the way they've done that. And then your bonus is at the bottom. I like that.
Mm-hmm,
so
yes.
Winner not just gets one mug, it's whatever amount is listed on that die for that round. So if you're on round 3, you'll have, was it 300, I think?
Yes, I think it's 1 chip for every round.
For everyone, yes. So then you'll get that if you won. And then the long shot is great. That didn't really pan out for me. I think one time it worked. One time it was really, really good. And I got tons of money, but it's a good bluffing technique if you you want people to vote on you, and then it's like, nope, sorry, don't know what I'm talking about.
Definitely. I also love how you can bet on red or black now, and it's like, well, I have no idea, or like everyone has similar answers. It's like, oh, like it's it's like a 2-year frame between this one and this one. It's like, which one is it? And then you could just be like, well, let's bet on red, so it's either this, this, and then of course your payout's gonna be less, but it's a safer bet. And then if you're risky, you're gonna have a bigger payout if you're right. I like that.
I thought it was great. Yeah, I like the betting on black or betting on red. That was cool. So like, I mean, it has a lot of new elements in it. Still maintaining the basics of the game, but I thought it made it more interesting.
Definitely. And I have to talk about like how beautiful the mat is too. Like, because the one that you normally get in Wits and Wagers, it's like a thin, felty kind of thing, and like it's kind of, oh, I'm sorry. It's kind of curled up a little bit sometimes, or like you see the creases and stuff, and then, not everyone can see it if you have like, a larger group of people playing, but this mat is huge and it's so easy to read, and the printing quality and is beautiful. Like, colors are deep, you can read it well. It is double-sided, which is great, and it's it's like a thick mat too, like the kind you get in not even like your mouse pad. It's nicer than your mouse pad.
Exactly. So I mean, it's large. So I mean, if you're looking to like carry this around, let me just throw that in my game bag. Well, it's big. So I mean, it is a mat, so you can kind of fold it down. But I mean, it is a larger mat. But I would make the effort because I love the game. And I think the mat is awesome. The colors are nice, and I like the different things that they've incorporated into it. And then they still have the original mat if you're like, not really feeling Vegas-y tonight, so let's stick with the regular Wits and Wagers. So, but just remember that you have to play this one. Generally, it's requested that you play it with Party, but I think you can also play it with Deluxe. I think the only edition they said that it's not going to work with is Family.
Probably. So, they did Family a little bit differently. I can't remember how it was, but I remember it's a little different. Right.
So I think that's the only version that it won't work properly with. I think you either need to get Deluxe or Party. And I know you had mentioned Party is harder to get in Canada.
Apparently so. I've been trying to get it for, I think, the past 5 years and haven't been able to find it.
Okay, so there you go. But I mean, at least that people are aware they may have to order it in. But there's a shout out. Let's get Party in Canada. Let's have a party.
On Twitter, I let them know I wanted geek themed questions. Like, for example, how many hours did it take to apply Drax's makeup on Guardians of the Galaxy or something like that? Just something like that's, in how many meters is the Nile River? Like, I don't know. Like,
so, well, and it's funny because I spoke to some of the staff and crew that work with North Star Games, and I mentioned, like, can we even have just like an international, like, on the Kickstarter where that level, international level or something, where you can, as a stretch goal, you would be able to get some additional questions that are oriented towards Canada or oriented towards maybe Asia, you know what I mean? And it would just be like a special edition, so you don't have to do a whole print run. But yeah, I thought that'd be kind of cool.
For sure. But honestly, anything more Wits and Wagers, I am more than happy enough to just, invest in, because after a while you go through all the questions and you have, like, you bring it to different game groups, you bring it to your family, you bring it to your friends, you bring it to your game night, and then, like, you see it all after a while, and it's like, I need more.
Yeah, I agree. It's great. Like, I think the game plays in 7 rounds. I'm like, oh, we're like 20 rounds later, we're still playing.
Yeah. I do like how they count the rounds now, that you don't just stop until whenever you feel like it. Now there is an end point, and then there is a reason to want to go all out and just be like, okay, time to put everything on here.
Yes. So, and that's a very good point. So it almost has a timer for the game, and kind of saying, hey, you want to make some money, and this is your last chance, do it now. So, I mean, yes, you can start over again, but then you would be starting over 1 through 6 versus the other version. You can pretty much just continue to play really for as long as you want. So
exactly.
Yeah, so that's really smart as well. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, you're absolutely right. So overall, this is like major thumbs up. I love Wits and Wagers, and the mat just brings some more fun elements to it. More ways to get money, which is great. So I love it. Love it. And I think it's really smart the way they've done it, and smart keeping the original on the other side for people who do maybe just want to have nights where they want the regular version.
Exactly. I think it's a really fun twist on an already really fun trivia game.
Yeah. So there you go. Definitely 2 big thumbs up for me.
And from me.
Awesome. So that's our review for Wits and Wagers Vegas, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.